Hello, and welcome to episode 1 of the Equity Crowdfunding Radar, where we take a high level look at interesting opportunities in the equity crowdfunding space. I'm Elias, I'm a novice investor, and I wanted to create this series to highlight my interest in the equity crowdfunding space and also chronicle my development as an investor. So, when I think about equity crowdfunding and evaluating companies, there's kind of like two buckets that I put my assessments into. One, do I have the vision to see how a company can grow? Like, in other words, it's kind of like an intuitive aspect. The second is, am I able to analyze a company in such a way that backs up that initial intuition? Or maybe even like goes against the intuition, right? Because you may find that you have strong intuition, but if the analytics don't make sense, then you might say there's too many red flags and I don't want to invest. So you don't want to go too heavy on intuition and too low on analysis, and vice versa, in my opinion. Okay, so let's jump into Virtuix, which is the first company we're going to look at. So what do? They develop VR gaming hardware. Specifically, they develop an omni-directional treadmill that allows users to interact with a game in ways they haven't been able to before. You're able to run, jump, duck in person, and subsequently your avatar in the game will follow all of your movements. Now, this is some innovative tech. This company's been around since around 2013, but they've had some pivots in terms of their business model. So let's get more into it. In addition to the omnidirectional treadmill, they have a software as a service aspect of their business as well. So they have a growing game catalog. The games in their catalog are first party and third party. That means they develop their own games and other developers are licensing their games to Virtuix. And also they charge a monthly online fee. So think about Xbox Live, PlayStation Plus, even Stadia, where users, once they get onto the platform, they still have to purchase the games and or pay a monthly online charge. Now, they also have a B2B arm. This is where they've been primarily focused, where they're selling these units to entertainment parks. Think about like Dave & Buster's, or perhaps like an amusement park, arcades, where it becomes part of the overall kind of entertainment experience. Where did I find out about this? Like, where did I get this lead? Facebook ad. So the more you start investing in equity crowdfunding, or the more you start visiting these platforms, you'll start seeing more ads for companies that also are looking to raise money. Are they profitable right now? No. So in terms of my initial high-level analysis, this is probably the biggest red flag. They're not profitable. They lost money last year. They lost money this year. They lost more money this year, actually. A net loss of $3.58 million fiscal year 2020, which ended March 31st for this company. The year before that, they lost $2.67 million. What sort of traction are they seeing right now? Well, they're developing a new product that's allowing them to expand to the consumer market. So I'm going to give a little bit of background on where they started, where they ended up, and then where they're going. In my opinion, all this is my opinion, by the way, and based on my understanding of what I've read. So they started off with a Kickstarter. That's where they first got their traction. They raised I think over $1 million, and they were selling the units to consumers at somewhere between $500 and $700. I guess that wasn't feasible, or there wasn't enough demand, but whatever the case, they decided to pivot to a B2B model where their primary consumers were other businesses, entertainment businesses. And they were selling, I believe, at around $5,000 at that point. So it allowed their business to be a little bit more feasible. Now, a couple of years later, or a few years later, they're they've created a new product. I imagine the cost to create this has gone down, but that's just speculation. Now they're looking to expand into the consumer market again. It's a new product, a new price point. I think the price point is around $1,800, and yeah, so that's their next move. They've already been selling to businesses. Now they're going to the consumer market. Listing info. Oh, actually, before we go into the listing info, why don't we just check out a video from the site? Why not? I mean, you can see this. Been seeing this guy run and jump while I've been talking. Let's look at their kind of promotional content here. So one thing I want to pause here and say or mention is that vest. So here we can see this is what the Omni 1 looks like. It's the omni-directional treadmill with this stand coming out of the back, and then there's a vest on it. The user puts the vest on, and then they'll be able to run in place on that omnidirectional treadmill. Yeah, so quite the nice commercial. I'm familiar with the gaming industry, and I see the potential. Familiar as a consumer is what I mean to say. So I can definitely see the potential of this product, and that's one of the reasons why I thought it was interesting enough to highlight. Okay, now let's talk about the listing info. So they are raising, or well, not yet, but they will be raising, pending regulatory approval, via Seed Invest. They're going to raise approximately $10 million, or maximum $10 million. The valuation is $65 million pre-money. That means before they raise the $10 million, the valuation is $65 million. The minimum investment is $997. I'm pretty sure that's right. Price per share, 2.996. The other thing that is of note here is if you invest at least $1,000 with the company, you can get anywhere between, I believe, a 20 and 40% discount, depending on when you invest. Oh, here, it even says right here. Invest $1,000 in Virtuix and get a discount of up to 40%, worth $800 when buying Omni 1. And I do think they're retailing around $1,800, somewhere in that realm. So it'll leave you with a net $1,000 out of pocket, around there. Before I go to the Seed Invest page, and I'll only take a quick glance at that, there are some things that I wanted to call out as potential unicorn signals. So in the equity crowdfunding space, and even in the angel investing and VC space, valuation is important. You want to understand how a company gets to a certain valuation. Is it fair value? I think at the scale that I'm working at, that's less relevant. Whether a company is properly valued at 65 or if it's maybe a 35. That's less important to me than whether I believe this company is going to $1 billion. And if it is going to $1 billion, then I'm looking at, at this valuation, what is that, like a 15x, somewhere around there. So yeah, I'm not too worried about whether a company is 65, 35, 75. Maybe as I scale up, I'll start to fine tune that a little bit more. But I think the valuation is fair enough where it is. One, they're not profitable, which is maybe a knock against them. But let's look at some unicorn signals that may shift that a little bit. So, what are some of the highlights? So they have a strong advisory board. They have a former CEO of Activision. Maybe I can even scroll down a little bit here. I'm not sure how finicky YouTube is with regard to posting people's faces and information, but hopefully, if it's on a public website, it's okay. I don't know. So let's look at their management team and advisory board. You have Mike Griffith, who is a former CEO and vice chairman of Activision, which I think is, what is that, in the 40 billions right now valuation. He's currently the director of Dave & Buster's, right? So this is a strategic partnership here. Kai Huang, he is the co-founder and CEO of Red Octane, creators of Guitar Hero, which is a super popular gaming franchise. And it looks like he also has a fitness company that combines hardware and software to make exercise more entertaining. So there's more strategic partnerships. We have John Wei Lee, apologies if I mispronounced that. It looks like he has venture capital experience, and his specialization is growth strategies for innovative hardware products. So we've got a strong advisory / management board. Lastly, unicorn signals, we have Mark Cuban as a notable investor. So he is, if you're familiar with the Shark Tank series, Mark Cuban, whoops, I totally scrolled there. Mark Cuban is, he is the richest shark. If you don't know who he is a very popular angel investor. So those are some unicorn signals. Take a quick look at the seed invest page for Virtuix. You can reserve shares now. So far, they have 2.4 million reserved, 2.45 actually. And yeah, we talked about the pre-money valuation, and they're raising up to $10 million. So what do you think? I want to hear from other folks who are in the equity crowdfunding space. Do you think this is worth investing in? What are some additional red flags that you spotted? Yeah, tell me your thoughts. What can I do better? Because I feel like my analysis is, quite frankly, pretty bad. But yeah, I think this is a cool product. I see the vision of it growing to $1 billion company. I don't know that there's any company that's even competing with them in this space. If there is, I haven't heard of it. So yeah, happy to hear your thoughts, and thanks for watching. Feel free to give a subscribe and a thumbs up if this is something you'd be interested in terms of the content format. All right, thanks for watching, and happy investing. Bye-bye.